Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Y'all hear the Mexican horns going off? Uh-oh. We got some Mexican-American versus Mexican-American crime about to take place. Vergil Ortiz ain't trying to hear that. He done put down the Mexican horns and picked up that Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted. I'm glad you mother effers set it off. Used to be hard, now you done went soft. Damn, boy. No Vaseline. Going all out against Oscar De La Hoya. Hey, yo, hold your horses. Golden Boy Squad. Let's not take it to the stupid. How did we get to this point? Oh, no. De La Hoya come out here and do something that Vergil Ortiz doesn't like because Jaron Ennis and what's his name? Crazy ass. Eddie Hearn sitting back laughing. They sitting back laughing. This is what happens when you're not on the same accord, man. Jaron and Eddie have an open line of communication. They're on the same page. Vergil Ortiz and Oscar are not. Vergil Ortiz's team, man, they ain't playing. Recently filed a lawsuit against Oscar De La Hoya. Damn. Golden Boy Promotions going down, seeking to terminate his promotional agreement and claim damages after breakdowns in negotiations for the huge fight fans have been clamoring for. Ortiz versus Jaron Ennis. And I'm glad he's doing it because this is letting us know that Ortiz wants to fight him. Ortiz doesn't like the fact people think he's putting duck sauce on the fried rice. He is coming out here swinging. Now, the suit alleges that Golden Boy breached terms of Ortiz's contract and interfered with his ability to make the Ennis fight happen, which Ortiz and his manager insist was seriously close to being finalized before it all went up in smoke. Now, at the heart of the lawsuit is a clause tied to, Oscar De La Hoya's and Golden Boy's broadcasting deal with DAZN. Now, when it comes to Ortiz, he and his squad, they feel that, because of Golden Boy's contract with DAZN expired at the end of 2025, the promotional rights agreement should have been terminated as well. Golden Boy disputes that. The contract ended because it's still negotiating a renewal with DAZN, which could mean the PRA remains valid. And this is all bullshit, man. De La Hoya just doesn't want to lose one of his stars, man. Vergil Ortiz goes somewhere else, he'll make more money, he'll be more happy. He can go out there and hook up in Saudi Arabia with Turkey al-Sheikh. When Turkey's in the house, every day is Thanksgiving. And make money hand over fist. He doesn't need De La Hoya, and he knows that. Matter of fact, a lot of us realize that. To be successful, you don't need toxic people, negative people. Yeah, get them out your life. Make sure they can't come back. So I'm glad he's doing that. That's how I operate. If you're negative, if you're toxic, you up out of here. And if you voluntarily leave, good. Never come back because you're not welcomed. Now, Ortiz's lawyer, Gregory Smith, who's known for helping Canelo Alvarez exit his own Golden Boy situation years ago, claimed De La Hoya's actions weren't just business negotiations gone sideways, but were willful, malicious, and oppressive conduct that harmed Ortiz's career financially and competitively. They say that Oscar went out here using the damn social media platforms and then, these little secret conversations and conditions that weren't properly presented to Ortiz, which ultimately affected his ability to negotiate and took Ortiz's legs from underneath him, and the whole damn fight fell apart. Now, we all know that the Ennis fight almost happened because, look, this saga has been going on for a while. All the way back when Golden Boy and Matchroom were trying to set up the Ortiz-Ennis fight. A matchup most boxing fans agreed would be one of the biggest, super welterweight fights, even if they would have fought at welterweight, which we know Ortiz can't get down to welterweight, but they were like, yo, no matter what weight these guys fight at, it is a super fight when it comes to the sport of boxing. Now, at one point, negotiations appeared very close to being complete. The timelines were on point, the money, the date, venues, everything was going the right direction, but then everything fell apart. A lot of different reasons. Some say the sticking point was just the money distribution, who gets the biggest share of the purse. We all know De La Hoya has been out here openly saying he wants a 60-40 split in favor of Ortiz, which many felt was high for a fight that arguably showed that it should have been closer to 50-50. And I still think that. Jaron, Ennis, and Vergil Ortiz should be a 50-50 fight. Very simple. Nothing less. This 60-40, 55-45, that's all dumb. Just look at the records, look at the drawing power, and just make it 50-50 and make the fight happen. If they want to do a 60-40 to the winner, I mean, whatever it takes to make the fight happen, but there seems to be so many management conflicts. De La Hoya went on saying, hey, look, I lead the negotiations based on my experience as a fighter and a promoter. And then Ortiz's manager, Rick Vergil, he insisted that he has the right to negotiate directly, and Ennis' side insisting offers either way were properly put on the table were insufficient. So it looks like from Ortiz's side and De La Hoya's side, neither one were able to hit the sweet spot when it comes to Jaron Ennis and what he would like. So in the midst of all of this, man, when you just listen to both sides, they got these public statements that start circling around and these social media taunts, which muddied the waters further and made the situation more about ego and control than straightforward matchmaking, which is just stupid. Just make the fight. There's a lot of money they're both going to make. You know what I'm saying? Just make the damn fight. Now, there were some people out here saying, why is he suing? I mean, why wouldn't Ortiz sue? The legal action isn't just about ego. It's about career momentum, about opportunity, about financial harm. It's just like somebody stealing from you. You gonna let somebody steal from you? And they think it's okay? And then they get mad when they deal with the consequences? Nah. This Ennis fight represented a major marquee matchup that could define his legacy, attract massive global attention, and other significant offerings and earnings beyond just fight night purses, if he could win. But I even think leading up to the fight, there's a lot of money Ortiz could have made just leading up to the fight, with endorsement deals, sponsorships. But at the end of the day, Ortiz's lawyer claims the breakdown in talks, which they place responsibility for squarely on Golden Boy's handling or mishandling. And they feel there's millions and millions of dollars that were lost in potential revenue. I agree with that. There was a lot of money on the table for Ortiz and Ennis. And De La Hoya, being greedy, just totally dropped the ball. Now, the lawsuit gets a bit specific, but it just says that De La Hoya's public attacks on the potential Saudi backing for the fight and his alleged attempts to vilify Ortiz's team created confusion about who had actually negotiating rights, which handicapped Ortiz's opportunities to pursue the bout freely. As a result, in Ortiz's eyes, it's a contractual and fiduciary breach that justifies separation from Golden Boy and all of the damage that's been done. So it sounds to me like Ortiz is just saying, I thought the fight was being negotiated. Golden Boy went and made some changes. They didn't go about this properly. I didn't know, and as a result, negotiations fell apart. And just because of that inference, he lost some career opportunities. But this right here was Ortiz's biggest fight of his career and biggest payday. As a result, he feels his contract was breached, and he feels Oscar should be held accountable. So, why it matters for boxing? I think it matters for boxing. I think it matters for De La Hoya big time, man. Fighter autonomy is the first thing. Ortiz's lawsuit challenges the idea that a boxer must always rely on or be bound by a promoter's decisions when it comes to his biggest fights, especially when he believes he has leverage under contract clauses. And there always seems to be some kind of power struggle between the fighter and the promoter. Oscar none of his fighters like him. It's crazy to see. I ain't gonna say that. I say a lot of his fighters don't like him. Golden Boy, Eddie Hearn, and even external players like guys out in Saudi. Look, everybody wants to be involved with the big fights, talk about when they take place, and have some kind of control. But with Ortiz, that lawsuit, man, it just highlights how promoter politics can derail even highly logical matchups. I mean, I'm trying to think. If Oscar De La Hoya didn't want him to fight fight Ennis, who did he want him to fight? Ortiz is at a point. I mean, look, whether you agree or not, he beat Bohachuk, he beat Majimov, he just tranquilized Erickson Lubin. Doesn't matter if you think he won those fights and lost them, he did it. So he's had 5 fights at super welterweight. He's won all 5. I mean, what is the problem? He wants to kill his momentum. You don't go and win the fights that Vergil Ortiz has won and then get up here now and not fight a guy like Jaron Ennis and go fight a lesser opponent. You don't do that. 24-0, 22 KOs. It's time for Ortiz and Ennis to have a defining career moment. And to both of them to really go from being, I would say, guys with a lot of potential to really becoming true superstars. But we got to stop offering excuses, man, and start offering fights. And I think Ortiz feels his prime years probably slipping away without that legacy-defining matchup because he's been through a lot already physically with the rhabdomyolysis. 2 different stints with it. So for him to be here now with the opportunity in front of him to do something great in a huge fight to go on and potentially become a superstar and have that snatched away from him by his promoter, he's not feeling that. He's not feeling that at all. So the final take, fair play or business bluster, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, from one angle, Golden Boy might argue we're just playing the game, baby. Seeking the best financial terms and protecting its asset. From Ortiz's side, it looks like, hesitation, self-interest, and poor negotiation strategy cost him one of the box's most anticipated fights. So instead of delivering the dream matchup fans want, the business became the story. And now Ortiz believes the only way forward, once negotiations failed, is through the courts. Which is sad to see it go that way, but obviously there's a lot that's been going on behind the scenes, and he just got tired of the bullcrap. Now, whether the lawsuit succeeds or ends in a settlement, this case could reshape how fighters' contracts interact with promotional and broadcast agreements moving forward. What sucks is Ortiz suffers, so does Ennis, and so does the fans. And Ennis wants to make the fight, Eddie wants to make the fight, but De La Hoya is always out here making things complicated. But I guess we'll see how this plays out because he had big-time drama with Ryan Garcia and other fighters who left him. Obviously, Oscar De La Hoya's not doing something right, and, he's got to figure that out. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.